Hello. Today, we're going to be talking about The Legend of Screaming Jenny. Now, this is episode 22. I do have four of the podcasts you can go check out as well. They're called True Crime Lounge, Sassy Southern Belle, Just a Breezy Chat, and Dark Academia Queen. If you're new here, hit that like button, ring that bell for notifications, and please subscribe. Help a girl out. But today we are going to be talking about an urban legend. This is called The Legend of Screaming Jenny. So, as most of y'all know, I love a good urban legend, a good myth, and everything. So, shall we get started? Okay, now, what we need to know is that Jenny is a poor woman with no family who lived along the B&O Railroad in Harper's Ferry, West Virginia. One day, she was warming up broth over a campfire when a spark flew from the fire and caught her dress. So, Jenny screamed for help. The fire grew bigger, engulfing her into flames. In a last chance attempt, she would fall into a train track trying to get the attention of an approaching train, but it was too late. The train hit her, and she died. Now, many people claim that on the anniversary of her death, her burning ghost can be seen on the very same West Virginia tracks, and some say you can even hear her screams late at night. This is stuff you tell at a campfire. Now, what do we know? So, here is the West Virginia ghost story. So the old shortage sheds along the track with the abandoned shortly after the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad was built. And wasn't long before the folk of the area moved in, and the sheds provided shelter. And although the winter was still pierced and very serviced, there was a small fireplace, and the poor constructed did a little to they could to keep cold at bay. So a gentle and kind woman whose name was Jenny lived alone in one of the smaller sheds. She had fallen hard on times. Know that feeling? With no family to protect her, and she was forced to find work where she could take it and take whatever shelter that was available to someone with little money. So she never had enough to eat. Um, in the winter and had a tiny fire that barely kept her alive in the cold months. Still, she kept her spirits high. She tried to lift other folks when they took sick and needed food, and sometimes going without herself so that another could eat. So, one cold evening in the late autumn, she was shivering over a fire, drinking broth over with a spoon, when a spark flew from her dress, lit her skirt on fire. Feeling um her aching stomach, she did not notice the flame. Her clothes were flamed until the fire was burning through the heavy wool of her skirt, and she began to search the skin. Now, leaping into terror, Jenny threw her broth over the thickening flames, but the flood did nothing to douse the fire. Now, in terror, she would flee from the shack and run along the tracks, screaming for help as the flames engulfed her body. So, the station was not far away, and instantly, Jenny made it, hoping to find someone to help her. Within moments, her body, glowing inferno, and Jenny was overwhelmed in pain. Her screams grew more and more, and horrible as the steps forward. She staggered blindly onto the tracks just west of the station, a ball of fire that barely looked human. In her agony, she did not see the glowing headlight of the train rounding the curve or the screech of the brakes as the engineer spotted the fire-eating figure and tried to stop. A moment later, her terrible screams broke off the motor down. Alerted by the whistle, the crew from the station came running as the engineer halted the train track and the tracks poured toward poor dead Jenny, who was still burning. Now, the men who doused the fire carried her body back to the station, and she was given a pauper's funeral and buried in an unmarked grave in the local churchyard. Within a few days, another poverty-stricken family moved into her shack, and she was soon forgot. Now, She was forgotten until a month later when a train rounding the bend west of the station was confronted by a screaming ball of fire. Too late to stop, the engineer plowed over the glowing figure before he could bring the train to a screeching halt, and leaping from the engine, he ran down the tracks to search for the mangled, burning body, but there was no one there. So, shaken, he took the train into the station and reported the incident to the station master. And at the hearing this tale, the station master remembered a poor dead Jenny and realized that her ghost had returned to the tracks where she had died. Now, to this day, the phantom of Screaming Jenny still appears on the tracks on the anniversary of her day she died. Now, many an engineer rounded the curve just to the west and found herself facing with the burning ghost of Screaming Jenny. As once more she makes her deadly run toward the Harper's Ferry station, seeking in vain for someone to come and save her. What do y'all think of this Virginia urban legend? I am very curious. Like, have anybody's actually seen this? Like, or is this like something you're just curious about? I'm curious. Do you think it actually exists? Now I do believe in ghosts. Do not get me wrong, but I'm just like curious. Like, is this urban legend true or not? Because most urban legends, there's always some truth to it. If you know a legend, there's always a truth, at least some truth, right? But anyway, that is it. Join me next time as we discuss the belled buzzard, as if it's real or not. And we discuss Queen Christina of Sweden and the Dollar Princess Jenny Jerome. And why does Jenny Jerome sound familiar? If you do your research before that video comes out, you'll know why it sounds so familiar. Alright, and you'll know why. One of Britain's most famous historical figures was part American. And you'll know who I'm talking about. Alright, I'll see y'all next time. Y'all try to stay cool out there.